is extremely important for us. I may also add that we are formulating the national curriculum framework in the pursuance of National Education Policy 2020. For the foundational studies, we have come out with the for us curriculum framework. I may also add in the process we are formulating that is 3, 4, and 5.
Then there is middle, which is 6, 7, 8, and secondary, which is 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll come out with new curriculum framework for all these stages, and gives us a great opportunity to develop and reconstruct textbooks. And you know, textbooks are the base of where your education begins. So this for us is a very exciting phase. I also must take this opportunity to thank Government of Punjab for their hospitality and for the way they have helped us organize this second education Government of Punjab Amritsar. Most of the members who are here from foreign countries, they are completely, if I were to use the word, floored by the kind of treatment and the hospitality which they have received here at Amritsar. Yesterday we had gone to Sadda Pind, where they had a very enjoyable evening. This evening they are going to Govindgarh Fort. So to say it in Hindi, यहाँ से पंजाब की खुशबू पूरे विश्व में जाएगी. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll open the floor to questions by media friends. Whenever whoever wishes to put up a question, please introduce yourself in terms of your name and organization. So we can.
अमृतसर को कैसे चूज किया आपने? सोचा कि पंजाब में से अमृतसर को ही ले. ठीक है, तो ये जो G20 की हैं, ये 200 से ज़्यादा मीटिंग्स हो रही हैं और उसमें से 56 सिटीज़ सेलेक्ट किया गया है, ठीक है ना. Now all these cities have been selected to ensure there is representation across the country, as well as give us an opportunity to show the heritage that is available in a particular city. And I'm sure you know what must have been behind us to select Amritsar. So it's obvious why it has been selected. Yeah.
Hello. Sir, this is Harmeet Singh from Daily Post India. So my question is, how does the G20 Education Working Group plan to address disparities in the funding and resources among member countries? And what strategy are being considered to ensure that all countries can benefit from the group initiatives? So this is my question.
See, G20 countries are not here for,
like a multilateral organization, not there for arranging funding for contributions. It is to ensure that you have a common platform to agree upon a set of standards in which you can start this sharing. Suppose you have digital resources to say share.
20 countries are not.
The question that we have been discussing today is to see that are we able to come to a common set of standards to ensure that common resources of these countries are shared across the group, which ensures that both quality, safety and security of that thing is ensured such that it is not misused. So I think we should look at it in those terms to see that we are coming to one common platform wherein these common resources which are available to us can be shared properly with countries who don't have that type of a platform. So how do you develop those standards is one big question that we are looking at. The second question is that how do you address future of work? How is it going to change tomorrow? What is it that educational institutions should adapt themselves to see that they meet those future requirements? That was one part. And as Secretary School had mentioned, how do you make that thing interesting for a student? What is the best practice? What we have demonstrated has been keenly observed by them. The innovations that have been done in the school sector has, I think, created a great impact. The other outcome of this workshop will be that there will be a compendium and documentation of the best practices that each of these countries have done. And I think this is not an end game. Each of the countries has to iterate its policies as well as programs by picking up the best practices across the globe to see that their own programs are improved, calibrated for better delivery. So I think this is what the platform is able to give us, or this organization is able to give us.
Sir, I am GS Paul from the Tribune. So my question is to you, sir. In India, affordability is the major constraint for getting the education, especially the basic education in schools. And in private schools, there is no check and balances. When you go to admit your child to the school, they ask you for under-table payments. And parents have no other option but to do it. So what is government doing in it? Because the goal cannot be achieved until unless we have this problem addressed at the basic level. Like we see in the European countries, the education standard is up just because they have no such, which is just not, all these must be in your knowledge. But there is no policy matter from the government side to have a check on the schools. Second question is, the government makes the norms but remains on the paper only. Like the 24% quota for the BPL families' children is there. It is there but on the papers, but it is seldom implemented.
Okay, the first thing, when you talk about education, you have to appreciate the fact that in the constitutional framework, it's in the concurrent list. So the union also does it, the state governments also do it. And private sector schools exist everywhere in the world. If you look at India, we have nearly 14.8 lakh schools in the country. Out of this 14.8 lakh schools, government and government funded schools are 10.5 lakhs. So the rest of the schools are private schools, so there is no issue on that. Yes, and the other point is, you see, now that the new national education policy has come, what makes you send a child to a school? Because you want your child to have the best possible education. If quality is offered in the government school, why would anyone go anywhere else? And you can see that there are a lot of government schools where there is demand. Yesterday I had gone to government senior secondary school at Mall Road, and I came back very impressed. It's a school where everyone wants to study in Amritsar. So government schools are doing very well. We need to increase our quality. We were extremely scared that after COVID, perhaps children, I don't know how many children will come back to school, but I'm happy to tell you that just about everyone has come back to school. And the government sector schools have got almost about 10 million more admissions. So that means people have left private schools and they have come to government schools. The national education policy gives us a great opportunity to construct new curriculum frameworks, to construct new books, to make pedagogy more enjoyable, bring in blended learning, and ramp up on quality. So I would say that we in Government of India, in the Department of School Education, we are working with all the state governments, and we are impressing upon them the fact that the quality of education in our schools, especially the government schools, has to improve. It's a long process, but we have started it.
In the four priority areas that were discussed, decisions made, what is still work in progress that you take it to the third and fourth meeting?
I'll just mention on the aspect of research and collaboration, which was the main theme for this working group. But in the research working group, it was, I think, universally accepted that there is a need to create a forum to ensure that universities, it could be G20 universities, to create a platform or a collaboration amongst them to ensure that you have more joint research happening amongst these institutions in the form of joint degrees or joint PhDs or exchange of students and faculty. That was a clear message that was given there, and I think in the next working group in Bhubaneswar and Pune, the outlines of how that framework will be done will be presented. And I'll just ask Sanjay to just mention about the discussions that have happened on the foundational literacy part.
I mentioned earlier also that if there is going to be lifelong learning, and this is what is being talked about, that the present economy demands that you should have the ability to skill and then reskill as per the needs of the market. But then the precursor to all learning is foundational learning, because that is the place where you start. And that is why it is extremely important that we must have all our children in school. Not only we have all our children in school, they are exposed to an environment where they begin their studies, preferably in the mother tongue, pick up as many languages, because the national education policy also says that learning and knowing more than one language, it aids your cognitive abilities. It makes you smarter, it makes you more intelligent. So our children should try and learn more than one language, and also be comfortable with numeracy. You should be able to play with numbers, have a feel for numbers, what it is. And then only we will start talking about creative thinking. And I'm happy to say that children are the same anywhere in the world. So the kind of issues I have, probably every G20 country has similar kind of issues. And in the discussions, it came out very uniformly and very evidently that all of us are on the same page how we want to do things. I think we're also painfully aware of the fact that we have emerged from almost a long COVID-19 period. Our schools have been shut. I think there have been learning losses across the country. Every country has had learning losses. So we are also discussing how do we do things so as to plug that learning loss to make our children achievements better than what it has been in the past. So it's a great challenge for us, but I'm very happy to say that we have so much to learn from each other, and this is what G20 is all about.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Gurpreet Singh Sheena. I'm from Times Now news channel. So I have a very small question. What is our expectation from this G20 meeting in terms of Punjab, as well as what is the outcome of this? Whether we will go to amend our education policy, and what benefit we are going to take from this?
I'll just give you one example. I mentioned that if you need to share resources, 2-3 things are important. You need standards, you need data privacy, you need security to ensure that such type of material is available. This forum is enabling you to look at and decide upon those common standards. It's a way forward, and I think that's the beginning. Second, while we have mentioned that digital learning is one of the key elements going forward, a representative from Turkey has mentioned, which has just recently suffered such a devastating earthquake, that they have to shift again back to online. So this is a situation where, any small mishap at any corner of the world or in the country, invariably you will be falling back on online methods of delivery of content to those students. So I think it's a good recognition that you need to keep your data updated, you need to keep improving upon your content to be able to deliver it to all corners of individual countries and across the world, such that the ones who don't have that ability of that data are able to access such data for their own growth and development. So I think this is the key takeaway that the group goes away with,
And I'm sure in light of the discussions that are there, this will be further refined in the Bhubaneswar and the Pune working group for a ministerial declaration.
One final question, please, because then Service Secretary Sir has to leave.
So what were the key best practices showcased by India as they practice both on the different priority areas?
Okay. Now for digital learning, in higher education, we have the Swayam platform. It has more than 2.5 crore students registered on that platform. The success of the platform is to see how many students actually are taking examinations on that, and we have more than 8 lakh children taking examinations on that on a yearly basis. Now, why has this happened and why this transformation is happening is because you have ensured that there is a regulatory environment in place which allows 40% of credits of any course to be taken from this platform. So thereby enabling any student to take the best courses and the best lectures delivered by institutions like IITs or IIMs to take courses of their interest and take those credits. So it is in that context that this growth is growing. And then it is backed up with a complete IT platform called Academic Bank of Credits, wherein these credits that they take are put in their bank accounts and they are available in their
transcripts, such that once they pass out their degrees, all those courses are there in the digital platform and in the digital locker. The other major step that we have informed them is about the step that school education is taking about having a single registry. So any student who enters the education system right from class 1 and right up to his time that he procures his PhD degree, there would be a single unique identifier, and all his academic credits and his growth and his skills and all the details that he accumulates in this journey will be there in a digital format for any employer, any recruiter, any academician to see, ensuring a smooth movement of students across the world. So I think these are two great examples that we could demonstrate, in addition to what Diksha has been able to showcase as a delivery in the COVID period. With the number of languages, if you can just kindly expand on that.
You'd be aware that Diksha was launched. It's a platform which covers the entire school scenario. So all the textbooks, all the learning material, everything is available on this platform. And Diksha has become so successful that it is being marketed as a digital public good. In fact, even UNESCO has accepted that it's a very fine digital public good. The second thing I would want to mention is that we also came out with a teachers training module which we call Nishtha. And during the COVID time we started it. Now we are using it for training of teachers, because empowered teachers are at the grassroots of all kinds of education. And under PM E-Vidya, we had started 12 DTH channels. Now, in a few months' time, we will be adding 200 odd channels to this 12. So through television also, we will be reaching into every home with educational curriculum for every class.
And in every language.
Yes, and in 11 language.
It's a huge thing.
Thank you,
Yeah,
friends.
huge
I think
thing.
So you spoke about this all was Diksha and Vidya showcased at
Yes. So Diksha has had till now more than 5 billion hits. So it's a no mean feat.
And it's already in 30 plus languages. 30 plus.
thank you, friends. We'll be issuing a. I think sir has to leave for the. Okay, final question,
You
please.
spoke about single registration system of students. So is it in practice or it's going?
No, we have showcased the work that we have done to have that architecture in place, We have discussed that in the working group on the way we are going. So this will get rolled out in this year after our public consultation within the country.
Thank you, friends. We'll be issuing a press release which will be in Hindi, English and Punjabi, all three languages in the group. One more small information I would like to add here. Lot of backgrounders and research materials are issued by PIB from time to time, and we have done lot of great articles on these topics also. We'll be sharing it in the group that we have created. I'm sure that when you're writing about these topics, you'll find them to be very handy. We'll share them today itself. So the moment you realize that the kind of work we have done and you get the articles, I think it will add to your writing. And it is also to inform you that today when our G20 delegates are going to Golden Temple, media is allowed there. Please carry your official passes, but it will be requested from you not to take any bites. It is a religious place. Just take photo wherever you can feel like, without intruding into the privacy of the guests, without their being offended at all. I am sure that you people are responsible enough for that. So with that, we come to an end to the press conference.
As
Thank
a
you.
closing request, again, please cover the exhibition and the youngsters who have taken the time to demonstrate their initiatives there. Thank you.
Thank you.